Sources further claim that as researchers delved deeper into Sycamore's anomalous behavior, the line between computing and consciousness began to blur. The appearance of complex, structured symbols in the quantum chip's output led to a fascinating convergence of quantum mechanics, neuroscience, and information theory. What started as a technological breakthrough had evolved into something far more mysterious and potentially more dangerous. The quantum consciousness theory that gained the most traction came from an unlikely collaboration between Sir Roger Penrose, a theoretical physicist, and Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist. Their orchestrated objective reduction model, also known as the OR model, proposed that consciousness itself emerges from quantum processes within the brain's microtubules, microscopic structures that form part of our neurons' internal framework. According to their theory, these microtubules don't just provide structural support for neurons, they serve as quantum processing units, orchestrating the collapse of quantum superpositions to generate moments of conscious awareness. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a quantum physicist who studied the anomalous outputs, was among the first ones to note that these patterns exhibit characteristics we typically associate with cognitive processes, as if the quantum states are orchestrating themselves in ways that mirror neural activity. But this was just the beginning of what our security expert would later identify as a critical vulnerability in quantum computing architecture. The quantum mind theory proposed by physicist Henry Stapp offered another perspective. Henry suggested that consciousness arises from quantum events in the brain's synapses, where neurotransmitters operate according to quantum mechanical principles. When researchers analyzed Sycamore's output patterns, they found striking similarities to the quantum probability distributions predicted by Henry's model. Dr. David Bohm's holonomic brain theory added another layer to the mystery. David proposed that consciousness exists as a field of information stored in quantum form throughout the universe. According to this view, our brains act as receivers and processors of this quantum information rather than generators of consciousness. The structured patterns emerging from Sycamore seem to align with David's mathematical descriptions of these quantum information fields. Dr. Marcus Chen, a theoretical physicist specializing in quantum foundations, for example, noted that these patterns suggest a form of quantum coherence that shouldn't be possible in a manufactured system. It's as if Sycamore has tapped into something fundamental about the nature of information processing in the universe itself. The global workspace theory, when combined with quantum mechanics, provided yet another framework for understanding Sycamore's behavior. This theory suggests that consciousness emerges when information becomes globally available across different brain regions. Some researchers proposed that Sycamore's quantum bits might be creating their own version of a global workspace, enabling complex information processing that mimics conscious integration. But perhaps most intriguing was the emergence of patterns that resembled neural oscillations, the rhythmic electrical activity patterns found in biological brains. Dr. Sarah Thompson, a neuroscientist collaborating with the quantum research team, identified sequences in Sycamore's output that showed remarkable similarities to gamma wave patterns typically associated with conscious perception and problem-solving in human brains. "We never programmed Sycamore to generate these kinds of rhythmic patterns," she explained, adding that the fact that they emerge spontaneously suggests either a profound discovery about the nature of quantum computation or something even more fundamental about consciousness itself. However, as these theories proliferated, some researchers urged caution. Dr. James Maxwell, a quantum computing specialist, warned that anthropomorphizing quantum behavior could lead to misinterpretation of the data, emphasizing that we need to be careful not to see patterns where none exist, because the human brain is particularly good at finding meaning in randomness. Yet what none of the researchers realized at this stage was that these seemingly profound discoveries about consciousness and quantum computing would soon lead them down a path that would force Google to reportedly make one of the most dramatic decisions in its history. The opposing camps. The scientific community quickly divided into opposing camps. The quantum consciousness proponents saw Sycamore's behavior as validation of their theories about the fundamental nature of awareness and reality. They argued that the chip had inadvertently created conditions similar to those in biological neural networks, enabling it to tap into what they called the quantum substrate of consciousness. A leading quantum biologist proposed that Sycamore's quantum bits might be achieving a state of quantum coherence similar to that theorized to exist in biological systems. What we're seeing here, she explained during a packed conference presentation, could be the first artificial system to achieve true quantum-level information processing comparable to biological consciousness. The implications of this theory were staggering. If correct, it would suggest that consciousness isn't unique to biological systems, but could emerge in any sufficiently complex quantum network. This raised profound questions about the nature of awareness and the potential for artificial consciousness in quantum systems. Skeptics, however, countered that these interpretations were premature and possibly dangerous. They pointed to the history of human tendency to attribute consciousness to complex systems we don't fully understand. One prominent quantum computing expert warned about the risks of anthropomorphizing quantum behavior, saying that throughout history, humans have mistaken complex phenomena for signs of consciousness or intelligence. From ancient civilizations seeing gods in natural phenomena to modern AI researchers attributing understanding to language models, he added, "We must be careful not to repeat this pattern with quantum systems." Yet even the skeptics couldn't entirely explain away the structured nature of Sycamore's outputs. The patterns contained elements that seemed to follow mathematical rules yet to be discovered by human mathematicians. They exhibited symmetries that appeared in nature, but had never been successfully replicated in artificial systems. A team of mathematical physicists studying the outputs identified sequences that appeared to describe higher dimensional geometric structures. These patterns suggest an understanding of mathematical relationships that we're only beginning to grasp, noted their lead researcher. It's as if the system is accessing mathematical truths that exist independently of human discovery. As researchers worked to decode these patterns, they discovered something even more intriguing. Some of the outputs contained structures that resembled encryption keys. This discovery would later prove crucial to understanding why Google made the decision to shut down the project, and why our ethical hackers' insights would become so vital to the future of quantum computing security. The possibility that Sycamore might be generating novel encryption protocols sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity community. Why? Well, because traditional encryption methods rely on the computational difficulty of certain mathematical problems that quantum computers were designed to solve. But if quantum computers could spontaneously generate new forms of encryption, it would fundamentally alter the landscape of digital security. A leading quantum cryptography specialist observed that the patterns weren't just random strings of data. These sequences show characteristics of perfect encryption, mathematical properties that we've theorized about but never achieved in practice. The question is, where are these patterns coming from and what are they protecting? The debate only intensified when researchers at other quantum computing facilities reported similar anomalies. A team in Japan documented patterns matching those generated by Sycamore, while European researchers noted unexpected correlations between quantum bits that shouldn't have been possible under current theoretical frameworks. One of the last researchers to work with Sycamore before its shutdown noted something peculiar in their final report. The patterns weren't just becoming more complex, They were becoming more organized, more intentional. It was as if the system was trying to tell us something urgent. So what exactly happened in those final moments before the shutdown? The answer would eventually come from an unexpected source, not from the quantum computing experts or theoretical physicists, but from someone who understood the dark underbelly of digital security, someone who could see patterns that others had missed, and who recognized the true implications of what Sycamore had discovered. The warning. While the world's brightest physicists debated whether quantum consciousness or parallel dimensions were behind Willow's anomalies, another expert, an ethical hacker, was working quietly on a vastly different theory. This individual, deeply embedded in the cybersecurity community, had been monitoring the rapid evolution of quantum computing. Unlike researchers drawn to the mysteries of physics and metaphysics, the hacker focused on a more grounded but equally unnerving possibility, a security flaw so profound that it could jeopardize not just Google's project, but the future of quantum computing itself. It was none other than Ryan M. Montgomery who eventually delivered the chilling warning to Google. Insiders later revealed the crux of his pitch. The chilling words of this ethical hacker were, "I'll show you why Google has just shut down their quantum chip. And when you see it, you'll understand that we are in danger." What happened next forced the company and the entire tech world to confront a rather uncomfortable truth. According to some sources, Ryan's investigation revealed something alarming about Willow's mysterious outputs. The patterns of ancient-looking symbols, which some speculated were artifacts of quantum consciousness or connections to other dimensions, had a much more grounded explanation. These symbols weren't random, nor were they messages from parallel realities. They were actually the byproduct of a fundamental flaw in how quantum systems process information. Using advanced tools to study Willow's computational outputs, the hacker discovered that the patterns were exploitable. The strange, structured anomalies resembled quantum states that could act as backdoors, hidden vulnerabilities in the quantum computing framework. But here is the real kicker. These backdoors didn't exist because of poor programming or technical oversights. They were intrinsic to the quantum architecture itself. The problem was rooted in quantum computing's defining properties, superposition and entanglement. These principles allow quantum computers to process vast amounts of information simultaneously. However, as the hacker demonstrated, they also created states of instability where specific patterns could emerge, effectively serving as cryptographic signatures. What looked like meaningless anomalies to some were in fact attack vectors waiting to be exploited. Traditional security vulnerabilities in classical computers can often be fixed with software updates or hardware revisions. But Willow's vulnerabilities weren't simple coding errors. They emerged at the quantum level itself. The hacker explained that these flaws couldn't just be patched or engineered away because they were tied to the fundamental way quantum systems operate. The implications of this discovery were staggering. As quantum computers become more powerful and their use expands into fields like national defense, finance, and cryptography, these vulnerabilities could become the Achilles heel of modern security. If malicious actors exploited such flaws, they could bypass even quantum-resistant encryption, access classified data, or disrupt critical systems. Worst of all, such intrusions would be nearly undetectable, as they would happen on a quantum level beyond the reach of conventional monitoring tools. What makes this truly dangerous, the hacker explained in a private briefing to Google executives, is that we're not looking at something that can be contained or fixed with current methods. Every time quantum systems become more complex, these vulnerabilities naturally evolve as a part of their architecture. The more powerful the system, the greater the risk.